What happens when the greatest player your country has ever seen retires? You're supposed to fall off a cliff, right? An entire generation, defined by this one 7-foot-tall legend, just fades to black. For German basketball, that icon was Dirk Nowitzki. For 2 decades, he was German basketball. He was the reason they won a World Cup bronze in 2002 and a EuroBasket silver in 2005. He was the face of a nation on the hardwood. So when he retired from the national team in 2015, it felt like the end. In his last big tournament, Germany won just 1 game. The book was slammed shut, the story was over. Or so we thought. But here's the crazy part. For German basketball, losing Dirk wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a golden era. It was the painful, necessary spark for a total revolution. So how did Germany go from a team clinging to the memory of a legend to stunning the world and becoming basketball's newest powerhouse? How did they go from a single tournament win with Dirk to an undefeated run to a World Cup championship without him? This wasn't luck. This wasn't just a few players getting hot. This is the story of a secret blueprint, a master plan built in the shadows for years, all designed for one reason: to take over the world. To understand how massive this victory was, you have to understand just how bad things got. The post-Dirk era was supposed to be a basketball wasteland, and from the outside, it looked exactly like that. For 20 years, the game plan was simple: get the ball to Dirk. He was the sun, and the entire German basketball solar system revolved around him. His gravity held it all together. When he was gone, the team was just floating in space. They didn't even qualify for the 2016 Rio Olympics. At EuroBasket 2017, they showed some life, but got knocked out in the quarterfinals. And the 2019 FIBA World Cup was a total disaster. They finished in the 18th place, not even close to the top teams. Sure, they had talent. Players like Dennis Schröder were coming up, and he was unbelievably skilled. But the chemistry, the system, the identity, it just wasn't there. Schröder himself was crazy talented, but everyone saw him as a solo act, not a leader. The story was written. Germany had a great basketball history, but their best days were long gone. They were a team of individuals, not a unit that could actually compete for a title. Losing a generational player like Nowitzki creates a huge hole that can take decades to fill. The team had no clear leader, no style, and worst of all, no real pipeline to create a steady flow of top-tier talent. The old way was broken. Relying on one superstar isn't a strategy. It was a lottery ticket they had already cashed. To get back to the top and build something that would last, they couldn't just find another Dirk. They had to build a machine, and that is exactly what they did. Germany's comeback wasn't one big move. It was a quiet revolution, built on a ton of smart ideas, starting from the ground up. They made a choice to stop looking for a hero and instead build a system that creates them. The first problem was the talent pipeline. To fix it, they focused the whole pathway around clubs and long-term development. The national U19 and U16 elite leagues, NBBL and JBBL, sit under the joint umbrella of the DBB, the BBL, and the Bundesliga, giving teams a national high-level competition every year. On top of that, BBL clubs are required to field youth teams in those leagues. Development isn't optional anymore. At the pro level, roster and licensing rules nudged teams to play and develop German players, the well-known 6+6 homegrown balance, while the DBB's A2 U23 squad gave near-ready prospects international reps before they hit the senior team. It wasn't about finding the next savior, it was about making sure there were always multiple ready-to-go Germans in the pipeline. They also tightened the link between clubs and schools so kids could be identified and trained earlier. Programs like Alba Marktschule and the nationwide Elite Schulen des Sports model connected classrooms to courts, blending education with structured daily training and competition. And they invested in the teachers. Coach education was modernized with new licensing and development tracks, and in 2021, the Berlin and Bavarian federations partnered with Basketball Immersion to roll out evidence-based methods and an online portal, so a coach in a small club could access the same ideas as a BBL assistant. The system was in place. Now they just needed the right people to lead it. So they had the system, but they still needed a new identity on the court. The Dirk ball era was over. They needed a new style and new leaders. That's where head coach Gordon Herbert came in. A Canadian and Finnish citizen with tons of coaching experience in Germany, Herbert was hired in 2021 and was the perfect architect for this new generation. He wasn't just a tactician, he was a master at building a team culture. His plan was simple: create a team where every single player had a role, felt important, and put the team's identity above their own ego. His biggest project was Dennis Schröder. Schröder, who everyone saw as this super fast solo artist, completely transformed under Herbert. The coach put all of his trust in his point guard, making him the undisputed leader. And Schröder paid him back big time, maturing into a true floor general whose value was just as much in organizing and defending as in scoring. And later, the world would see it. But a leader is nothing without a tough, talented crew behind them. And the new German system had built just that. And then you have Franz and Moritz Wagner, the Wagner brothers. These guys playing together on the Orlando Magic in the NBA became the absolute heart and soul of the team. Their journey was the perfect example of the new German way. They grew up in the Alba Berlin system before heading to the University of Michigan and then the NBA. On the court, their chemistry was insane. Moritz, the fiery, emotional center, brought the passion. Franz, the smoother, younger wing, was a do-it-all force on both offense and defense. Their coach, Gordon Herbert, had the perfect quote for them: "I'd rather tame a lion than teach a cat how to roar." And the Wagners, they were lions. Their ferocity set the tone for the whole team. Around this core was a roster of smart, tough role players like Daniel Theis, Andreas Obst, and Johannes Voigtmann, who all knew their jobs perfectly. This wasn't just a random group of players. This was a brotherhood. They grew up in the same system, playing with and against each other for years. They had total trust in each other. This chemistry, built over a decade of planning, became their secret weapon. They weren't just a team. They were a machine, and they were about to show the world what they could do. The first hint that this German machine was about to blow everyone's minds came in the summer of 2022. At EuroBasket, with the knockout rounds in Berlin, the team went on a tear. Led by Schröder, they blazed through the tournament. In the quarterfinals, they faced Giannis Antetokounmpo and a stacked Greek team. In an absolute instant classic, they went head-to-head with the two-time NBA MVP and just rained down threes, pulling off a jaw-dropping 107-96 win. Even though they lost a tough semifinal to Spain, they won the bronze medal, their first major medal in 17 years. The message was loud and clear: Germany was back. But that bronze medal, that was just the appetizer. The main course came a year later at the 2023 FIBA World Cup. This tournament was the ultimate test of their entire system. Germany was a dark horse, but nobody saw what was coming. They bulldozed their way through a tough group, going undefeated. Their style of play was incredible, a beautiful, fast-paced offense run by their conductor, Dennis Schröder, paired with a tough, connected defense. With every win, their confidence exploded. And then came the moment that shocked the world: the semifinals against Team USA. The Americans had a roster packed with NBA stars, but Germany wasn't scared. They didn't just hang with Team USA, they outplayed them, winning 113-111. Andreas Obst, a Bayern Munich guard from their own league, caught fire and poured in 24 points with a barrage of huge threes, while the Wagners and Theis battered the paint and glass. The world was stunned, but Germany wasn't finished. In the final, they faced a tough Serbian team. It was a brutal back-and-forth fight tied at halftime, but in the third quarter, Germany's system took over with a 22-10 surge. Serbia clawed back, but with the game on the line, Coach Herbert put the ball in Schröder's hands and he iced it with the driving layup with 21 seconds left. The buzzer sounds, Germany wins, 83-77. They did it. They were the champions of the world. They won a perfect 8-0 in the tournament, and Dennis Schröder was named MVP of the entire tournament, the ultimate payoff for his journey from solo act to incredible leader. A year later, the machine didn't slow down, it leveled up. In Riga, Latvia, Germany met Turkey in a final that felt like a street fight in a phone booth. 15 lead changes, 11 ties, and no breathing room for 40 minutes. With the game hanging in the balance, Dennis Schröder did what captains do. Lefty layup for the lead, mid-range dagger with 20 seconds left, and ice-cold free throws to shut the door. Final score, 88-83 Germany, back on Europe's throne for the first time since 1993. If the World Cup showcased the system, EuroBasket 2025 showcased the depth. Isaac Bonga turned in his biggest scoring game of the tournament with 20 and a string of winning plays, 2 huge threes, a one-handed hammer, and that crucial offensive rebound in the final half minute. On the other side, Alperen Şengün was a force with 28, but Germany's collective answered every punch. There was drama on the sideline too, with head coach Alex Mumbrú stepping back during the tournament due to a health issue. Assistant Alan Ibrahimovic handled in-game duties. Yet the identity Germany built over the past few years never wavered. Same trust, same roles, same edge. Schröder capped by being named EuroBasket 2025 Tissot MVP, joining the All-Star 5 alongside Franz Wagner, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Alperen Şengün. And yes, Germany ran the table again. Germany's win wasn't a miracle. It was the result of a brilliant plan that took years to perfect. They fixed every single problem with a smart solution. A fragile talent pipeline was replaced by a national pathway, NBBL and JBBL, with mandatory club investment. The gap between youth and senior ball was bridged with an A2 U23 program and strong second divisions. Outdated coaching was upgraded with modern licensing and evidence-based education. And a team with no identity was forged into a brotherhood by a coach who knew that culture is everything. That 2023 World Cup trophy wasn't the finish line. EuroBasket 2025 proved it. Led by Dennis Schröder and the Wagner brothers, supported by grinders like Bonga, Theis, Obst, and Voigtman, and powered by a system that's always creating new talent, this is just the start. The question isn't, can Germany compete anymore? The question now is, how long will they dominate? This is not a one-hit wonder. This is Germany's golden era, built not in the shadow of one man, but from the collective power of a machine built to last. If you loved watching Germany take over the world, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We break down the biggest stories in sports just like this. And I have to know, drop a comment below. Is this German system the new blueprint for winning everything? Thanks for watching.